guys, we're up in one of the rednecks here this evening. I was planning on hunting timber in there with the acorns, but we just had such a diversity of wind here this evening. We elected just to get into one of our rednecks and then observation sit on a different piece of property. This is a piece of property that has held some pretty good deer in the past that we haven't seen on camera. We haven't seen all of them on camera yet. So I'm hoping we'll be able to glass some of these fields and isolate and maybe identify at least one or two. And then leading on to the reason for this video, it's going to be when to start hunting mornings. And so basically, once I can identify a buck that I actually want to go after and hunt, I'm going to wait until that 15 degree, 20 degree temperature drop occurs. And typically what will end up happening there is, right now when it's 70, 80 degrees in the morning, those deer have already went all the way back into their bedding areas, and you go in there at this point in time, you'll blow out a lot more deer, you do a lot more damage. And that's the reason why I go ahead and wait to that 15 to 20 degree drop in temperature. And basically what that allows me to do is those deer will continuously stay out there in the fields feeding longer, and then during daylight hours they'll go back into their bedding. And that's the idea behind it. I've killed several I've harvested several good quality bucks, including the 151-inch 8-point. I'll share that story real quick. It was a Wednesday. This is back before we had any kind of cellular trail cameras in 2016, and I ended up setting up on a pond a trail camera, and I had seen a bunch of hoof prints. It's a great thing for you guys to look at, as well as just water. But I had that in there, and there was a bean field that was back to the east, and within the next couple of days there was a bachelor group of bucks that came through, and then one real big deer. Well, I looked at that time frame on the weather, and it was like 47, 48 degrees, and with a north wind. So I thought, okay, well, that tells me I need to have a good stand location on the south side of that pond with that north wind, and we'll wait for a decent move through. So I went in there, put a climber up, and then I looked at the forecast for the upcoming week, and Wednesday showed the first cold front. It's going to be like 47, 48 degrees. So I went ahead and I was planning on hunting Wednesday. Woke up Wednesday morning and it was a south wind, so I backed out of that. Those deer would have caught my wind and they would have been out of there very quickly. But the next morning we had a north wind and it was even colder. So I went in there, ended up having those deer work just as I expected around that pond. They congregated around. The big boy came around, ended up shooting him, and the rest is history. So the move on, if you guys are going to hunt woods, right now, if you are not seeing your deer out there on agriculture, such as beans, corn, or your food plots, and you're wondering where those deer are at, I'm going to say the large majority of your pieces of property, those deer are back in those woods with those acorns. There is just a crazy amount of acorns this year, especially in the Midwest, from what I've seen and others have talked about. So definitely want to keep that in mind as you guys get into your hunting aspect. And again, if you're able to hold off for those morning hunts until that 15 to 20 degree temperature drop, I really feel like you guys are going to find yourself in a lot better position, not only that hunt but throughout the season there. So I'm going to go ahead and get quiet. Hopefully we'll catch a couple of these bucks through here and show you guys that footage. Alright guys, well, that's going to wrap up the hunt for the night. We went ahead and closed the windows and got a light in here so we can do the final video, but we ended up seeing quite a few deer, but no mature bucks. I don't even think we saw an antler deer, but as you could see in the video, that I was getting hit up on a lot of tactium, and there's one thing I didn't really talk about is our food plots right now. We've got some buck salad food plots just absolutely looking amazing from Nixa Hardware, and we should have some really good quality hunts over those this fall, but we're going to stay at it. I've got several more trail cameras we're going to stick out and hopefully get on one of these bucks before too long, and then as soon as we can get a constant wind, we'll go ahead and jump in a tree in the woods in the even time until that front and start hunting some of these deer, because I do think those big mature deer, they are sitting pretty tight on those acorns, and we've got some pretty good trees around this area so I can jump in there and see what happens, and we'll kind of bounce around as need be and go from there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature. Best luck in your upcoming hunt.